Hi everyone, at Digital Colmer here. Super excited to be creating my first video on SageMaker. So Amazon SageMaker is really a suite of tools that works on AWS. It does everything from labeling data all the way through to helping prepare the data, through to training the models and then deploying those models in production. And then once in production, there are tools to monitor those models and make sure that we don't have that horrible model drift in production. So if you enjoyed this video, it's going to be a short video, but if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as always. But without further ado, I will get straight into the demonstration. So let me cut. There we go. There is a picture of the console. Let me move my mouse across. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the SageMaker service. So the great thing about SageMaker, it does cater for beginners. And so there are some of the features I'm going to touch on, things like auto ML or auto machine learning, which means that you can take a data set, you can feed it into SageMaker Autopilot, and Autopilot will then look at the data set, decide on the type of problem you're trying to solve, and then automatically do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Doesn't work for all types of data, but it's a great way to get started. But SageMaker is also very much for data science professionals. So like we said, it's a very comprehensive end-to-end product suite. But today, I'm just going to have a bit of a tour of SageMaker Studio, which is the integrated development environment. I'm going to show you some key features, particularly because the console has been updated post reInvent 2022. So you can see that I now have on the screen, I can see Amazon SageMaker. And first thing you will need to do is Amazon SageMaker is to create a domain. So I've already created a domain. However, if you're not familiar with doing that, there's some great instructions here on how to onboard Amazon SageMaker today. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes. There are also some prerequisites here. Clearly, you need things like an AWS account. You need to have an IAM administration, user, and group. And there's an example of a policy that you need to create in order to give that user access to SageMaker. And there's some command line interface prerequisites should you wish to go that route. I'll include this link on the comments below the video. So let's go a little bit deeper. So we've now created our domain. And what we can do is we can create different users under our domain, which could map to different initiatives. So at this stage, we're assuming that each user is just going to do their own thing. If we want data scientists or developers or our different projects or initiatives to collaborate together, we can use something called space management. So we create a space, we can then allow certain people access to that space, and we can let those teams then create data science projects. I'm going to stay in user profiles, and for each of these user profiles, you'll see on the right hand side have launch buttons which launch various applications from SageMaker. So I'm going to use the SageMaker Studio, which is the integrated development environment. If you're a business analyst and you don't want to mess about with any code at all, you can try SageMaker Canvas there just by clicking on that button and following the prompts. And like we said, the Spaces feature is also here. But I'm just going straight into Studio. And so one that's launching now, that's now going to launch the SageMaker Studio environment. And that will allow me to demonstrate some of the new features that are available. So just give that a few moments. Joys of live demos. And I refuse to cut my videos too. I try and do them in one take. So here we are. For those of you that are familiar with SageMaker, this is a little bit of a different setup that you might be used to because there's been a number of updates from reInvent. We're trying to make the interface a little bit cleaner. So let's start off in Home. You can see here there's quick actions, there's pre-built and automated solutions. Let me just go into Open Launcher. And straight away here, I can create a Jupyter notebook. So let me click on that. And what that simply does, it allows a Jupyter, I'm already running a Jupyter notebook, it actually opens up a new tab for me and it allows me to start writing Python code. So from here, I can start writing Python code to call some of the application programming interfaces or APIs within SageMaker to do things like model training and model inference. So that's one really cool feature. I'm just going to discard that for now. let's go back, and you'll see that different tabs are open as I open different things. We can also import and prepare our data visually. So this is going to open up a service called SageMaker Data Wrangler, and that's going to take a few minutes to open, so let that run for a few minutes and I'll come back to that. We can get some more information on how notebooks work. So we've never used notebooks before in SageMaker or Jupyter Notebooks anywhere in the world. We've got some really nice, let's select that. Some really nice instructions here on how to get started. So you've got an introduction there, home, file browser. I'm going to show you some of these things in a moment. It's showing you these items on the left here. It talks a little bit about pricing, which is really cool. Drop back to home. We've also got a link here to the documentation. So straight away, this is Amazon SageMaker Studio. We can scroll down here, we can see Studio. Remember I showed you where domains was, so prerequisites for domains we showed you before. But if we scroll down, we can get right into labeling data if we wanted. We can get right into processing data. We can get right into training data. And so there's some really good getting started in here. So let me go back to here we are, read documentation. We can also view guided tutorials. So this is another really great way to get started with SageMaker. So say we want to get started with label training, let's get started there. Say we want to get started with ML model, building a machine learning model locally. Or maybe it's training models. Or maybe we don't want to use code, we want to use low code. So maybe we want to do it with minimal code. Maybe we look at Jumpstart. Jumpstart is a really good way, by the way, of getting started quickly with an existing pre-trained model, which I will show you in a moment. In fact, let's do that now. Let's go to Quick Start Solutions. And so this is designed where you already have a business problem. You've already framed it as a machine learning problem. And then you just simply choose either by tasks. So certainly foundation models here. We can look at data types. If you've read the news recently, there's a lot of chat now around OpenAI and how they've released not just ChatGPT, but also OpenAI. So stable diffusion is one of those techniques that's used. Sorry, not OpenAI. DALL-E is the product that they use with this stable diffusion model. So for example, we can see here that we've got a model, we've got a deployment configuration, we've got security settings here, and we can simply then scroll down if we wanted to and deploy that model and start running inferences on it. So this model is pre-trained for us. The other method that you can use is you can also use the built-in algorithms using the API calls, or you can bring your own algorithms as well. So that's SageMaker Jumpstart. Let's just close a few of these things down now. Let's see if SageMaker Data Wrangler is up and running. So yes, it's now up and running. And you can see there's a number of data sources that you can use with Data Wrangler. So Data Wrangler gives you a visual way of preparing and manipulating your data. So these are data sources it works with. But also we can set up new data sources using Amazon AppFlow Data Transfer, which links into a service called Glue. Now the only thing to be aware of when we're using Amazon SageMaker Data Wrangler, let me just scroll over here. Hopefully you can see that. I might just zoom in a little bit there just so you can see. It does use an M5.4x large. What does that mean? Well, what it means is I've got a calculator here. If I can find my calculator, where's my calculator gone? It's here somewhere. I've got too many. There we are. That instance alone, if you were to run it for a whole month, would cost you 560 USD just running Data Wrangler. So very, very important that we go back here, and when we've finished, you see there you got that little kill sign. We killed that. Shut down all, and that will save you money. So spin up the SageMaker Data Wrangler. You saw me do that through here where it said, if I scroll this way a little bit, import and prepare data visually. That spun up the SageMaker Data Wrangler through here. That's now got an error because I've just shut it down. But once you've done what you need to do in Data Wrangler, please make sure that you shut that down. That'll save you a lot of money, 560 a month there. This is my SageMaker, my Jupyter Notebook that I'm running, T3 medium, quite a modest sort of size. Let's just explore some more features down here on the left. So every single Jupyter instance that you use uses an elastic file system. It's basically a Linux-based file system that lives in AWS, where you can store all your files, and you can share these files with other users too. What else have we got? Let's have a look. So that's that second tab here. This tab down here. Oops. It might help if I'm on the right screen. Oh. As with all live demos, I'm having a few fun. A little bit of fun with the way it's working. Nope, looks like it's not going to work today. I think I might have upset it with the data wrangler there. Here we are. Here we are. This is where our running instances are running. So we're running a Jupyter notebook. So make sure you shut down these things. These are my running kernel sessions. I can also integrate with a Git repository if I so wish, for committing of code and creating deployment pipelines. I've got some getting started documentation here, and down the bottom here are various extensions. I'm not going to demo those today. Excellent. So let me just adjust the zoom a little bit. What I want to do now is, we've already talked about Data Wrangler. We can also then look at Auto ML, Auto Machine Learning. So this is using SageMaker Autopilot. There's a number of experiments that I've been running here, but probably the best thing to show you is my SageMaker notebook. Let me see if I can find it. Autopilot customer churn. Here we are. So if you want to get to the getting started, you can see that link there. Basically, you can create a Jupyter notebook, as you can see here. You can document it very, very clearly. It's very repeatable. It includes the code. This is actually using a little bit of code, but with Autopilot, you can minimize that by using SageMaker Data Wrangler instead of this code to manipulate the data. And then to simply run the Autopilot job, you can either use the GUI or you can simply use the API call down here. So you've got the input data config there. And as I scroll down, you've got the create auto ML job. It's that simple. So that's been a bit of a whirlwind tour of SageMaker for you all. I really, really hope you enjoyed that. As I said, at Digital Colmer, always here to answer questions, so feel free to comment. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon on the next video. You all take care.